When an idea takes flight, it changes everything around it. It draws attention. It inspires. It takes people with it. This is the story of one such idea. An idea called Microland.
The theme for the 25 years of Microland is vision, passion and success. Since inception, we were clear. We were not creators of technology, we were not visionaries of technologies, but we had to have the ability to identify how these technologies will impact businesses and human lives. And a business proposition throughout was Microland would be an integrator of these technologies in various environments.
When we started the whole thing, the intent of Microland was to do something that other people have never done before. Almost like an adventure, almost like Star Trek, boldly go where no man has gone before.
It was 1989. The idea was right, the roads were clear, and the sense of a great adventure was calling. Microland ventured out and introduced India to global networking technologies.
When we started in 1989, the vision was simple: build a networking company, identify technologies in the international markets, bring them to India, make them available, make people aware, make it affordable, design networks, supply and support them.
Global leaders had set their eyes on India, and Microland emerged as the obvious choice. Between 1989 and 1995, Novell, Compaq, Cisco, and Netscape were here, thanks to Microland.
I'm meeting James Richardson, the Vice President Marketing of Cisco in the US, and he says, "Pradeep, why should I sign up with you? I'd rather sign up with Tata's." Clearly, Tata's were then as well a very well-known name. And my response to him was very simple. Sure, you can sign up with Tata's, but they're not standing outside your door wanting to sign you up. If they're outside your door, go ahead and sign them up. And that clinched the deal. We became Cisco's partners as early in 1993.
While technology has managed to touch everyone's lives today, it was different back then. It took the passion of Microland to embark on something truly remarkable.
Very, very early in our days, we had this gentleman who came from Novell, Bignew Danovich was his name, and we had designed programs both in Chennai and in Bangalore, and we didn't have two sets of computers that we could demonstrate enterprise networking with, and Mr. Danovich was actually conducting classes. So I have this great memory of completing the session in Chennai, closing it at 6 o'clock. And I was the only one. I had to travel along with him because there had to be one person who had to fly along with him. We couldn't afford the flight tickets for everybody else. And a whole bunch of us actually traveled in a truck from Chennai to Bangalore. And by the time Mr. Danovich walked into the hotel hall where the session in Bangalore was supposed to be held, and he walked in at 8:30, we had a new network, set up and waiting as if it was there all along. I think to a very large extent, this conveys the absolute sense of adventure and absolute sense of making things happen.
Microland was the first to introduce internetworking, a path-breaking concept that connected heterogeneous networks across multiple locations harmoniously. Not surprisingly, Microland had ranked #1 in a customer survey as the best network solutions provider.
1996, that was the year when we touched 100 crore mark as the company. And this happened on the last day, 31st March, and we just about managed to touch the magical number. And to make that happen, everyone, literally everyone from the leadership team was there, including Pradeep, picking up boxes, forming a queue, putting it into the buses and the trucks to make sure that we managed to do that. And at the end of all that happening there was so much of joy, so much of excitement. I just can't forget that.
Microsoft's dream was to have Microsoft on every tabletop, on every computer, on every office, on every desktop. And here we had, for the first time in India, Bill Gates on a platform hosted by Microland.
And the entire arrangements and logistics had to work clockwork.
It was a moment of pride. It was a moment where
Everything was minuted to the second into number of steps.
Microsoft's greatest growth is coming from large companies building networks of personal computers. Here in India, there are many companies like Microland who've been excellent partners in building up the capacity and really making sure that all the training and capabilities for supporting the products are absolutely there.
By 1998, the world was waking up to the next big wave: software and internet technologies.
With the advent of the internet technologies, the business that we are in would become a commodity business. I can tell you it's a difficult call. We're 181 crores, 543 employees, very successful, perceived very successful internally and externally. To then say, look, looking forward, this business will change. Looking forward, this business will become commodity, and we need to divest all this and start all over again. Not an easy call. We had to write off over 30 crores of inventory, but we took the bold call because we were convinced that the opportunity ahead was far more significant, and we had the ability to transition to that opportunity. And that's how we moved to what version 2.0 as incubators of internet technologies.
It was an era when information technology was beginning to touch everyone's lives, and Microland re-engineered itself to this new reality called the connected world through the World Wide Web.
One thing about Microland which has defined it, I guess, is that the company has always looked ahead and tried to catch the next big thing.
To begin with, Microland launched PlanetAsia.com, India's first professional services company for the internet, and clocked 15.4 million in just the second year of operations, and probably the first registered company in India with a dot in it. Then came the metaphorical .com gold rush, when Microland had staged the most successful marketing coup of those times, with India.com. Sensing potential opportunities during this exciting phase, Microland had embarked on a series of ventures: ITspace.com, India's premier technology portal, and Media2India.net. In fact, Microland had assumed the mantle of a premier internet company in India with Internet World, a global event on internet technologies managed in partnership with Meckler Media. By 2002, Microland was ready to reinvent itself all over again.
We would do what we know best. We'll differentiate in a manner that others find difficult to replicate. And we transitioned ourselves early enough in 2002 into remote infrastructure management services.
Microland became India's first remote infrastructure management services company.
Not many people in India gave a chance for a company to be built as a pure play managed services company. But here we were taking a decision to build a pure play managed services company. In the last 10 years, I think we've come a long way. We have successfully positioned Microland as a pure play.
Microland today manages the IT infrastructure of worldwide clients remotely from India.
Fast forward 2014, clearly this is the third wave of IT outsourcing, and we're the only specialist provider of these services out of India.
As businesses worldwide are transforming, the Microland story just got bigger. The inflection point in IT infrastructure services is here. Microland, true to its spirit, on its 25th anniversary, has launched version 4.0 as India's first hybrid IT infrastructure service provider. While we look back at the 25 years, it all falls into a sequential growth that is just unbelievable. The story of India's transformational company has just begun a new chapter. Microland. Vision, passion, success.